Firstly, thanks a lot all for coming again. And what we're going to have now is a panel discussion around trading strategies and social trading. As we all know, Blockport is a social trading platform, so that's why the discussion is around that. It's pretty simple, actually. And we have a very special lineup, and we actually have one extra person as well that's joining us this evening. And I just want to start by saying that the legalities of this is obviously very obvious. You know, none of the things that you hear this evening is meant to be trading advice. This is just people sharing personal opinions. So please don't take anyone to court over anything you hear this evening. And also, you know, this is a relaxed discussion, and hopefully each and every one of you this evening can take a little bit of information that you hear and take that home and integrate it into how you look at cryptocurrencies and your trading strategies. So what I'm going to do is ask each of the panelists to come up one by one and give a short introduction about themselves and also an interesting fact. So let's start with the one and only Michael. Please come up. So just a very short introduction.
Well, I'm Crypto Michael van der Poppen, and I'm working at the Amsterdam Stock Exchange as a full-time trader. Next to that, I am a sort of influencer. I hate the word, but people give me that label. And I'm not only trading, yeah, you're one of them. I'm not only trading crypto, I'm also trading stocks and commodities. And I'm coaching people in my company, Ponsanka.
And an interesting fact about yourself.
I forgot it. I'm just a little hungover, so I forgot what I said to you.
That's your fact. All right, please take a seat. Next up, we have Sebastian from Blockport.
Hey guys, welcome everyone at first. My name is Sebastian. For the guys who don't know me, I'm one of the co-founders of Blockport. I started 3 years ago in crypto trading, and we saw a lot of things that could be improved in the space, so that's why we started Blockport. At Blockport, I'm responsible for the product and also have a lot of management responsibilities. Yeah.
And an interesting fact?
Interesting fact, maybe a bit of a personal thing. Every morning I start with an ice-cold shower.
Who else does this?
That's a pretty good reason.
If you haven't tried it, do it.
Yeah, it's mainly because you don't want to do it, and if you do it, you already have won the day, basically. And it's really healthy as well.
Thanks a lot. Next up, we have Adrian Krol, I believe. There we go.
So, welcome. Everybody knows me as @K in Telegram. @Boss, exactly. I'm an ex-ING. I have worked for ING for 10 years, trading stocks, commodities, FX, bonds, whatever, everything. I started trading cryptocurrencies in January 2017, but I mean, every crypto you touched in 2017 went × 2 or ×3 overnight. So does it mean you're a good trader in cryptocurrencies? I don't know. I invested in the Blockport ICO. I started working at Blockport in June 2018 this year as a community support manager. So actually the bridge between the community where the community can give us feedback or problems or whatever, and to the developers of Blockport. Fun fact. During ICOs, there was this kind of thing that called gas wars, right? You have to send your Ethereum with a high Y and a high gas to these wallets to get your tokens first. So there's a little trick in my Ether wallet. You can change in the HTML code the GUI, the maximum GUI gas. So you could send your Ethereum with a higher gas price than everybody else, so you always win the gas war. But that doesn't apply anymore in 2018 because, you know, ICOs are pretty much done.
Well, thanks a lot for that information. I think we should cut that one. I think we should cut that one out of the video. Next up, we have Ivo Jonker.
Hey, thank you for being here. So I'm working at STEM. It's also a blockchain company where we actually putting equity of companies on the blockchain to make it kind of easy to give away shares to your investors or your people that are working at your company. And actually, a fun fact from myself is actually how I came in the crypto world was because I didn't want to pay for a gaming server, so I started mining Bitcoin.
Simple, like it, like it. And last up, we have Rien Bos. Woo!
Hello, I'm Rien Bos. I have been trading stocks for like 12 years. Started out at the basement, then moved to the stock exchange where you're trading as well. Now I have my own software development company. What we do is we build algorithms and we trade on the US markets. Fun fact might be that I passed on investing in Bitcoin in 2012. Might be a better place to go back then, but the reason that I did it, or didn't do it, is that I couldn't short Bitcoin or anything else. And I made 2/3 of my money out of shorting stocks. So that seemed like a weird thing to do. So yeah, that's it.
Super, well, thanks a lot. Right, so the way that this works is I will ask a question and any of you can decide to answer said question and we can just have a conversation around this and build upon it, and at some point we'll move on to the next one. So the very first question I wanted to ask is, how do you guys feel that crypto trading is potentially the same and how it's different compared to traditional stocks and the stock market?
Well, in the stock market, you can buy a stock, and as a hedge, you can buy a put option on that stock. You can short it, you can borrow the stock, short the stock. In the crypto markets, you cannot do that. Yeah, you can short Bitcoin with Bitcoin futures, but you cannot short, I don't know, EOS or whatever. You can always only buy and hold, or buy, sell higher, and buy lower again. You cannot.
The other way around.
Oh, the other way around. So it's not the same, I think.
Does someone else want to build upon that?
Well, I think in general it's also really a much smaller scale. It's a really small market and really volatile. Also, manipulation is a bit more obvious than maybe in other markets.
We'll touch upon that later.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to comment on liquidity in the market, because that's in regards to size. That's definitely an issue.
That's what I meant. Liquidity is, of course, a lot lower. Yeah, a lot less.
Okay, well, obviously, that's where in both traditional stocks and crypto stocks, that's where there's technical analysis as well as fundamental analysis. And I'd actually like to hear from every one of you, starting with yourself, kind of what approaches you take and what you're looking for in certain assets, strategies, etc.
Yeah, I haven't been trading that actively anymore. I did 3 years ago. Nowadays, I just hold my coins and sometimes flip them over, and then maybe once a few months, and then I mostly look at market sentiment and news, which you cannot trust though, but you can see what maybe the bigger audience does trust, so you can anticipate upon it. Yeah, but I don't trade that actively anymore myself because I'm just too occupied at the moment.
Should we do a show of hands? Who's actively trading right now? Okay, it's a couple of people. There's a couple.
So yeah, I'm more or less just a technical analyst, so I'm relying on the charts first. And for my investments, I'm looking at the fundamental part, which ones I want to have in my portfolio. And based on the chart, I'm going to decide whether I want to buy it at that level or no. Because for instance, Apple or Amazon are great companies, but I'm not going to buy them right now because of the TA. I'll just buy them when they are 50 or 60% down. And that's the same in the crypto market. It's just building up your stack when it's a buy, and just sell it whenever you can, just relying on the charts.
And how long have you actually been trading, actually?
A year.
But you put at least from what I've read from your Twitter, there's been a lot of studying and learning of trading strategies.
Yeah, but it's just more or less experience. In the first, we have just seen almost a full market cycle. You can learn a lot out of that. And it's constantly the same patterns over and over again. And it's out of the experience, you just see how it works out. And then you just build and build and build. And it's many hours. And it's also a mental state where you just have to be like stable.
Detaching your emotions from the money.
Yeah.
Well, I've been trading for 10 years at ING. I don't actively trade anymore, not on stocks, not on commodities. I have a portfolio which I hold. in stocks and in commodities and also in crypto companies, cryptocurrencies. Yeah, so I don't trade anymore.
But you have a background in algorithmic trading, correct?
No, I was a market maker and leverage products. So we didn't really use charts or TA or FA in our trading jobs. It was basically the risk for us was a gap risk. So if a company presents bad figures and it drops or it opens like minus 10% at 9 o'clock, then we had a problem because all our leverage products were knocked out. Do I use TA in does this work or no? Yeah. Oh, wow, nice. So yeah, and based on and cryptocurrencies, can you really have TA on cryptocurrencies? Well, maybe on Bitcoin, maybe on Ethereum, but not on all. I mean, the liquidity is just not there to. I mean, you can sell at market a cryptocurrency, dropping it by 20%. Yeah, it's hard, I think.
Mm.
So I'm also not actively trading, but what I'm currently doing is increasing my HODL actually. So when the market drops, I buy some more, and just increasing my my portfolio.
The base question was about fundamentals versus TA, right?
Yeah, correct.
So like what I did for 7 years or now 10 years is I've been trading on events of stocks. So that's, to me, is the perfect combination between the fundamentals and the technical analysis. Firstly, a stock opens up 10% lower or 20% lower. Everybody wants to get out. What will be the prices where a lot of volume will be bought in back again? So if it's opening up 20% lower, how much shares will other people are willing to, how much are people selling in total on volume? That's what you need to guess. And then what will that do with the price? And where is it actually buyable again? So the event says it should go down. In technical analysis, you can see in the charts like good prices where you can accumulate again or buy back your shares again. So I think that's the combination that I've always used. For technical analysis, only like prices like horizontal lines count. No dynamics, to me, that doesn't work. It's too much focused on the prediction of like where a stock will go. And mostly when you're looking at what it could do, then you will lose your risk management.
Mm-hmm. And in regards to the algorithmic side of it, how much of the trading that you've done over the years is kind of you making decisions versus a machine making the decision?
When I was trading the events, I was doing everything manual, like with some assistance of scripts. And now the computer is just doing everything, and I'm just looking if it's actually doing the right thing. And if it breaks, I need to like fix it quickly. So basically, I'm a babysitter for the stock market now.
How many people here, as another show of hands, have used algos before? Okay, so there's a fair amount of people.
Do you also use it for the cryptocurrency markets?
No.
Is there a particular reason why?
Yeah, we're coming back again to the shorting and the lack of like derivatives and like the real stock markets is so much more sophisticated in everything. So you have a lot of more like different ways to trade it. It's a bit like, it feels a little bit like you're getting strangled basically in cryptos. Because of the narrow selection of coins that there are, obviously that has been rising. But the ways to trade it is very, like, it feels like I'm handicapped there. So
limited, yeah. Okay, cool. Moving on. How many of you have ever used or partaken in actually some form of social trading? And where do you think this space is going in the future?
Yeah, I looked at it. And like tried it out on like obviously on stocks. I think it's a very good concept for people that don't have the time to do everything for themselves. And even if you have the time, you can follow somebody who has a totally different strategy that you don't know. So basically what you can do, if you're actively trading, take half of your money and put it at other people that do totally different things. And then in that way you split your risk, and therefore you will have a more consistent cash flow.
So back in the time that there was still a lot of hype around cryptocurrency, I was in some groups, actually paid groups, where a lot of people were just constantly looking at the market, seeing what news was there, and actually telling us or updating us about that news. So I don't have to sit behind a computer the entire day and look at everything, and they were doing it actually for me.
Yeah, it's exactly what these guys describe. I mean, I don't have time to do day trading, but I would like to invest maybe an 1 or 2 or 3 BTCs into somebody else's idea or portfolio and just let them do the work. And yeah, sure, I will pay them in a fee. So I like the concept of it because I don't have time to do it on a daily basis. And if somebody has the time, then he should get paid in a fee. And yeah, sure. But I haven't tried it yet.
Maybe soon.
Maybe soon.
Yeah, I think my opinion is probably the same. We're building social trading, so it's something I really want to have. Also, since I'm not actively trading, I want to give someone else the power to trade for me. It's something we've been developing, and so we just talked about as well. And yeah, I've tried it. I've tried eToro, of course, which is the biggest one on social trading. But at the time when I tried it, they only had stocks, and they didn't have any cryptocurrencies yet, or anything in that sense. So I saw a lot of opportunities there, and of course, it was one of our inspirations to include the social trading to our platform as well.
Well, I've got a paid group, so I'm still standing as well. I do believe in the social trading part because that will be bigger in the future as well, given the fact that it's better accessible for everybody to actually trade cryptos instead of stocks right now. So probably this market will get bigger. However, I've not chosen to actually just do the call, pump and dump and call groups. I just want to teach people how to trade, so I'm actually just sharing the whole arguments behind my trade. And in that way, the people are actually just learning what you have to do and then stand on your own feet instead of just blindly following somebody.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I want to ask Michael something, because this is, how are you doing this now? Because this is something we're envisioning and building. Would it be something you want to utilize, want to use? Like doing on a platform that, where you can monetize your following and teach them, educate them?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this, and I've been approached by a few different clubs already. I can do the call group, as in where I just share my calls and just build my money from there. I can also build my own website and build this group, which is quite common in the stock markets with Tim Sykes and stuff. And it's just whatever I like to do. And I don't like sharing just standard calls. I do like to teach people and help others around. So I just think that will be my approach. Okay.
Cool. Pascal's going to be putting this on the screen. If you guys want to ask questions, you can use this app, and then you can ask the questions and upvote, and then in a minute we'll actually start answering the questions from the audience, because this is a two-way communication, not meant to be a one-way.
Be nice.
My next question is around the current market conditions and what your opinions are, where we are, where we're going, where we've been. Michael, you wanted to answer? Very keen.
Well, every time when I've got exams, there's some shit happening. So actually, I've started studying on Friday afternoon, and like 2 hours later, it went just crazy. So that's why maybe I'm tired. But I feel like that we've lost the 6K barrier, and it's going to take a really, really long time before we get above that. And I feel like we get some accumulation in sideways market, and we have to find the bottom. We are not at the bottom right now. Because we have the capitulation spike still to come. And I do feel like that until like August of 2019, we just go sideways and just accumulate before we actually can start a new cycle. That's what I feel like right now.
Okay, thanks.
So what do you think the bottom is?
Well, the past few days I saw some momentum shifting from bugged release date towards the lock trend meme line to be the support. That's bullshit. And I've seen it's the same as the consensus hype and Mt. Gox selling, all that FUD we have seen. And now I see people shifting towards the 200 MA, the moving average, to become the support. That can last for a while, but then it just drops below that as well. So yeah, it can be 3K, it can be a spike to 1.3. If it drops to 1.3, then I'll just sell my kidney and go all in.
That's why I introduced with the don't take advice from me.
Well, yeah, but I've said it on Twitter the past few days as well. No, I'm not a shorter. Really, I'm not a shorter.
Permable.
No, I'm just day trading and going long on positions that I do feel like. And when I've tried it for a period, and I didn't catch any sleep for like a few weeks, and then I decided, okay, I have to switch a little bit to just do this for the next decade. But I feel like that we are getting the opportunities in the next 6 to 9 months to just build a nice portfolio, and then you're going to be the big winner in the next bull run. So you have to just live a poor life and just sober life and just push everything into crypto, I guess. Not financial advice.
I think I'm not so afraid. I'm more looking at it long term, and it's actually a really great building opportunity for us. So we have a lot of time now to build out our platform and be ready when the market turns again. So.
Like the current market in cryptos, like basically the whole bull run until the 15, 16K? 20, really. Jesus, I missed out on it. Basically, that whole run has nothing to do with trading. If you made money and traded, you didn't make money because you were so good at trading. Everything was moving up. So anything that you would buy, it's just like the housing market in Amsterdam. You buy a house, a year later, it's worth more. That's no skill. Everything is moving up. Doesn't mean that if it's skillless trading, that the money isn't real. But in the current climate where everything is dropped out massively, people are looking for a bottom. This is where trading, actively trading, will make you a lot of money. Basically quick scalping, getting in and out quickly at 10 cents or 50 cents or whatever, like a percentage of like 0.5% in every trade, you can make a lot more because it's like sideways, basically. You can buy a lot and sell it and maybe even go short and get the ride down as well, buy it back double, so you can make the perfect swing and you make a lot of more money there than in any other market. So this is by far the best one, and I don't believe in accumulating stuff because it could take years. It could be taking like 7 years. I see it in some stocks. They go boom and bust. They will lay there forever, and it's dead money. Make the money work for you. And for actively trading, you need to work a little bit harder now, but it will pay off way better.
We can move on to the next question, which is the big one that I think everyone's kind of even concerned about when we were in the bull run, which is in regards to market manipulation. Do you guys have any comments on this? What are your thoughts? Is it real?
Obviously, it's real.
Okay.
The game is rigged. That's for sure. But we immediately talk in market manipulation. Actually, if you place an order, you're manipulating it as well. It's the rule of the game is that anybody can place orders, and the bigger you are, the more influence you have. So sure, if you have 10 million to trade with, you have a little bit more impact. But on the other side, there's also more risk. So they have an advantage with a bigger account. Doesn't say that that's easier. It's just a different game.
Exactly my point. I mean, if you place an order in an order book, you manipulate the market, you change the order book, you change the way people see that order, algorithms changes, everything changes. Yeah, whales, they can manipulate the market, they have bigger risks, sure. I mean, it's part of the game, I guess. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's present in every market, as these guys are saying. But I think it's more noticeable in this smaller market. So you can see the effects really clearly. I think that is also why people are talking about it so much.
Yeah, I've got nothing to add. So.
Nothing to add.
Fair enough, fair enough. And in regards to the data that you're using in your trading, are there any particular insights or potentially trading strategies that have worked for you in a better way? Or, for example, looking at sentiment, is there any particular values that you pay attention to?
Well, obviously the trend is your friend. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. And furthermore, I'm just relying on price action and the horizontal levels, which is just mainly important. The support resistance flips, SFPs with divergence, and mainly price action and volume, VPVR. That's it. The less is better. The less indicators you're using, the better it is. I see some people using Elliott waves with Ichimoku clouds all in one. And I'm like, okay, well, good luck with that. But that's just not working out. I started with Elliott waves as well. It's so complicated, and it doesn't help you in the trading to actually improve. The same as saying market manipulation is an excuse. It doesn't help you. Market manipulation is everywhere. So build just a strategy with price action and VPVR volume, and then you're pretty much fine. And risk management, obviously.
Logic.
And leave emotions out of trading. Really, that's number one tip. Emotions, just put them away. You're trading. If you lose money and you want to cut your loss, just cut it. Don't think about it. Emotions should be gone, because otherwise...
Isn't that also better to let other people trade for you? Because they have less emotion with your money than you self have, right? Yeah.
You hope so anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to add a small thing. I've seen friends of mine making like tons of money last year, and when the market went down, they started trading all of a sudden without knowing anything about TA, and they started trading with leverage. If you don't know, if you can make profit with just normal tradings, don't trade with leverage, because it's just greed. It's a long-term game. Build a strategy which works, and then you can play the game all the way for the next year. So that's my tip.
Yeah, so what I think is really helpful in the social trading is basically when you pull the trigger to buy a coin or a stock or whatever, you're basically married with your decision. So it's very hard to then cut it loose again because, I mean, your decision was right. It's like when you buy a car, you tell yourself like the next half a year or a year, like this is a great car. Like it's the best car in the world, had the best deal ever, it drives so well. If I picked the other one that it was basically the same, then things would have been so different. So you're very married, like in your brain, with the decisions that you made, and you don't see clear anymore, basically. Only when you're well trained, and that's done. Probably if you're a little bit older as well, you can remove that thought or that bullshit process in your head. Yeah, and for the whole charting thing, people look at the markets and they look at like some beautiful graphs and all that stuff. That's already happened. So it's not the market anymore. The market is the order book. That's the only market there is. Nothing less. Time and sales window is perfect. You can see what trades are being done at what price, what size are the offers and the bids. Like that's the main thing. You don't need graphs, not at all, because you will see who is bidding, who is selling, and what happens. So that's all the info that you need, and the rest is just nice to show off, like with your 20 screens, showing off to friends and family how cool you are, but it has nothing to do with trading.
Oh, snap! I really like what you said about the car. I think a lot of people did that with the ICOs that they were invested in. You know, it's so amazing. It's going to change the world. Don't buy into the hype.
Yeah, and then like all of a sudden, because you made a grand or something, then start ranting about global economy and fiat currencies that go bust and all that stuff. Like basically it's Gordon Gekko in your own basement.
So yeah, right, thanks a lot. We're actually now thanks for asking some questions. That's always nice to see when you turn around and there are actually questions. So the first one is, anyone can answer this. How big do you think the crypto market can become? Currently, it's around 150 billion. Let's just throw some numbers out there. Why do we do this? Everyone say a number.
Infinity.
Great, love it.
Only time will tell, right? I agree
That's
with
not
that
a
part,
number.
yeah.
Infinity was a
Infinity
number.
then as well.
Oh, come on.
Well, between now and 5 years, I think times 10 of the 150 billion.
I think hundreds of trillions. Well, basically almost in the same as Green is saying. Yeah.
Within now and 5 years, I guess around 4, 5, 6 trillion. The next market cycle. Hopefully, we'll get it.
These are some big numbers. I don't know if
My
anyone
answer
else-
wasn't within 5 years, but
Okay. One day. Okay. Are you going to remove the questions, Pascal? The ones that we asked? Yeah. Why not hedge crypto futures with tethered currencies? Do you need an expansion on this question? Because we can ask the person to stand up. Yeah? Who asked the question?
Yeah, so I heard Adrian ask the answer. Said, well, hedging cryptos not possible. Challenging.
So if I want to short BPT, how would I do that?
Not talking about BPT in this case, well, futures or options.
Yeah, I mean, you can short Bitcoin with futures, yeah, obviously, but you cannot short any other cryptocurrency. Yeah, you can short Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash on BitMEX, but you cannot short alts, like individual alts. You cannot buy a put option on IOTA, for example. I mean, that is what I'm talking about. The stock market is so sophisticated, what he said as well. I mean, there are so much vehicles to hedge your position, and for alts, yeah, you can maybe hedge in a basket of alts with a short, go short on Bitcoin, but
Why alt? I mean, if you want value, you need to be in the top three.
sorry?
Why altcoins? If you want value, you need to be in the top three of the value.
But my point being was, the question was, what is the difference between the stock market trading and crypto market trading? And my point being is that for every stock there is like a derivative market where you can short or where you can create like a calendar spread or whatever. That doesn't exist in the crypto market, not yet at least. I mean, you can go short on Bitcoin with futures, but you cannot go short on a basket of altcoins. I mean, you can. I was just pointing out the difference between the stock market trading and crypto market trading.
You guys can talk about it afterwards. I'm sure we'll get to a solution.
I mean, that was my point.
Yeah.
The difference between it.
We'll get there. Oh, you have a comment?
Yeah, I have a comment. What you're saying with the Bitcoin futures, I would definitely do that trade, shorting Bitcoin and buying like Ethereum or other stuff that's also like a high market cap. In that way, you will neutralize the tendencies within the market, and then you can play the spread only. Very easy way to trade because it's like your stomach won't turn around 5 times every downtick or uptick. Yeah.
We like to sleep at night, right? Other
Yeah.
than you. Sir, when unwrecked. Yeah, when we're in the trillions, that's the answer. You got that one earlier, or infinity, depending on your perspective. And the gent gap, I guess that means gender. Investment strategies in households are strongly influenced by females. Now look at today's participants, all males. Yeah, go crazy, guys. Good luck.
Danger. I think the key word in the question is influence. It's not decisions, it's influence.
Was there a security guy outside or not?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think, but... But I have actually heard of something like this before, where it's every trading decision does have to get permission of the other account holder, which I think is very relevant. But I also feel there was something about age earlier, I think, on here. How are you proposing to close the age gap? Who asked this question? Yeah? Oh yeah, they're great. But that's where I think, yeah, and a lot of people right now are young in crypto, so they don't necessarily have this issue.
What I liked about the first presentation was about how do we bring it to the people like we are on internet.
Yeah.
So today everybody knows how to use internet. But when you want to start trading, it is today very complicated.
Sure.
And then you have, let's say you have someone passed away and you get some money. And you want to invest, and you have to go to your wife and say, okay, we get some money. How do we, and I've heard about this cryptocurrency stuff.
Mm.
Are you okay that I put in like 5,000 euros or whatever? And the wife says, oh, it's all crap. I'm reading the newspapers and they say it's dangerous and you shouldn't do it. And we have to go to the taxman and tell the taxman that we're doing it.
Yeah.
So how are we going to bring what we all believe in today? It's a leap of faith, right? What we're doing here. How are we going to bring it to the masses? How are we going to bring it to the general diversity?
Does anyone have an answer? Because I would have an answer.
This is
Yeah.
What I would,
aware what you say.
Yeah.
oh no, I don't feel any pressure to mold my answers into anything else. For the gender thing, what has been proven is that females are actually better at trading than men are. But the big but here is the reason why females are better because they're more conservative with the risk. In trading companies, what you mostly see is that traders want to do as much risk as possible. The biggest size ever, who trades the biggest is the boss. That's the silverback of the office. Then they have a compliance risk manager that will tell them, no, you can't do that. And that's basically the male-female role in the household. The man will probably think of it, come with the idea, and etc., etc. He wants to drop in 10K, and in the end, it will be 7.5 or 5 or whatever. And there is quite proof that females are actually better in investing because the risk is off and they actually feel less involved with their decisions because they actually accept that stuff is just moving without your own control.
And in regards to the age thing, it's like 2% of the Dutch population are scared of telephones and apps. So that's where, as technology develops and as people's understanding of technology and the usage also develops, that's where I feel, this is just my own opinion, it's all about this iteration and understanding. That was a really bad answer. I should never be on a panel. But if you stick around, actually the next talk is going to be about this. So there we go.
I also think that we cannot deny that men are generally more into technology, and you said it's now too complex, right, to trade or to buy cryptocurrencies. I think it's maybe the answer to both of them is make it more simple for the age gap as the gender gap, and that's exactly what we're doing here at Blockport. So not to make a lot of promotion about our product, but that is exactly, I think, what is going to solve a lot of those problems. Make it more accessible and more approachable.
You could make it that every trade has to have dual consent.
What I really liked was, back in the day, of course, CryptoKitties was really more open for people to see what cryptocurrency was about without the money aspect to that. Of course, there was Ether attached to it, but it's something different. And I think in the future, we will see a lot of things that are not just about trading, but about showing the technology behind it. And this will also open up a new age group and a new gender group as well.
Super. I think we can move on to the next question. Always the best one. What's your favorite project other than Blockport? You can say Bitcoin, it's okay.
So what I really like is IOTA. And why I say IOTA is that they're doing something different. And I really like people that are doing something different to move the industry.
You guys don't have favorite projects.
I'm afraid to share.
So I read about a beautiful coin. It was ICO'd, I think, last year somewhere. It's called Fuckcoin. Read the white paper. It's beautiful. It's almost like a piece of art of like an ICO. It's like a masterpiece of like 2 middle fingers to the whole industry. I think that's beautiful.
10 points for that. No one wants to give a favorite project.
Yeah. No, which one I really like, which has also utility and is also a lot of people are using it, is Steam, like the platform.
An actual use case.
Actual use case, yeah. So that's the one.
Does everyone here know Steam? Hands. Who knows Steam? All right, we like
so
that.
A lot of people know.
I have to, okay. I really like projects which are generally a little bit older at this point, and that's Stratus and Komodo. These two I really, really like. And they are just building on the technology point, and they don't care about the market or marketing at this point yet, because the product has to be finished. And there's a different way of thinking instead of like projects as Tron and all these kind of garbage. So yeah, these two are mainly my project.
It's actually nice to see that projects don't do the marketing and the tech speak for itself. Yeah, should we go with that one? What are the criteria of crypto projects to be considered mature enough for you guys to invest and or be traded in? I think you maybe just touched on that with regards to garbage, like you have your own criteria. It could also be to do with liquidity, for example.
The difference is that when you're trading, the low liquidity coins are just undoable to trade, and TA just doesn't work there. It's just pump and dump all the way. So I'm basically just trading the bigger coins because of the volume and the TA which works, well, in certain times. And for investing, there are some rules which I've made. There are some red flags, as in announcement of an announcement of an announcement is a big red flag. That's just not caring about your project. Let the technology speak for itself, and it will go up in the market as well. It has to have marketing, I have to agree on that. And some projects are lacking on it, but there has to be some sort of balance, and just fully focusing on the marketing. For instance, with Verge, is a way, but it's not sustainable for long term, I'd say.
I also think a lot of this is caused by the community that's pushing projects to do a lot of marketing instead of building. So they're really asking for returns in like months or weeks. So they're like really pushing projects to maybe act different as well.
Yeah. Well, there's the difference between people are thinking short term and long term, I guess. In the bull market, it's all about like the short term view. And a Pornhub announcement was such a big deal that it went like 50 times the value. And I keep saying this because I've sold it way too early as well. But that's not the way to long-term build a company. And there's just a sustainable floor for that. And like Komodo and Stratus are just building and not doing anything related to that. And that's my approach. But everybody has to do it for themselves, I guess.
Cool. We're going to wrap this up. Are there any last comments? That was the last question. I didn't announce it.
I want to say thank you to all the panelists for joining.
Right.
Speaking up.
Super. Thanks a lot, guys.